Hi, here with Pensacola, Florida's most recent real estate market stats for March 2026. I am sitting in front of my Airstream today. I'm catching a quick little break before our busy summer selling season of real estate, and but I was so anxious to get these market stats that I really wanted to share them with you as soon as I got them. So, so we had a really strong last quarter of 2025 and a really good start to 2026. And then we had what may have felt like a little bit of a lull with the international news, with war going on in Iran and whatnot. And so I was really anxious to see how much that affected our real estate market. To me, when at the end of last quarter, beginning of the year, it really felt like home buyers were really coming to terms and accepting that prices were level, they were not changing, that interest rates were not really going to change all that much. I mean, the last 3 years has truly been the most stable real estate market that I have ever seen in my tracking it of at least 20, 30 or more years of tracking real estate. Uh, I kind of felt that at the end of last year, beginning of this year, that buyers are really coming to terms with where we are with prices and interest rates, and that things were really not going to change at all that much. Then there was a slight feeling that there was a pause, or with the news, kind of, okay, wait a minute, this might be one too many things to pile on for home buyers. And so I was really anxious to see what these most recent real estate stats were going to tell us, because the numbers don't lie. Depending on what news agency you listen to can give you a completely different story, but the numbers are the numbers. There's no fudging those. So um, so this is what we've got. Uh, so March sales were up from last month and from last year. So last month they were up from last month 766 total sold units. That's all residential units in our Pensacola Association of Realtor area. Um, that was up year over year 13.5% comparing month to month. That is a huge jump. Um, March average days on the market right around 80. It's been waffling right around, 83, 80. So that really didn't change too much. The number of cash buyers still at a really high percentage. 22% of all buyers out there right now are paying cash uh, versus financing. The the inventory, well, the average sale price, it was $394,000 and change. That uh, down 2% compared to last year. That was $402,000 and change. But really, I mean, we've been really kind of just waffling around this, 380, 405 average sale price. That's all residential sales in the greater Pensacola area. We've been we have been waffling along that line for a good 3 years. So really not, in the big scheme of things, really not a huge change. Okay. Um, Inventory is up a little bit month over month. We're at 2986 in units, but we are down from 2025. We had a more like 3,400 units this time last year, which was much more normal. So we've had a decrease of inventory of 12.5%. So so one of the things that I had noticed recently was that, and it may be me just kind of being a little anxious to get on with the summer. The summer gets we get this wonderful little buzz, and it gets everybody's anticipating, what the summer season's going to be like. And normally, as we come into spring, we tend to sell, seasonally sell more properties into spring through the summer. People want to move during the summer when the kids are out of school and whatnot. We have military relocations that start to happen this time of year. So we start to see a lot more activity in our area. But what and typically we have an increase of inventory. Everybody thinks the best time to put their house on the market is in the spring. It is good to put your house on the spring because we do sell more houses in the summer months, and we can adjust for that. However, there's typically also more competition, so it may be negligible. Um, Personally, I always feel like the best time to sell your property is when it's right for you and when you have the recent sales to warrant the best price for your property and selling your property. So it's when it works best for you and when we have the best recently sold properties to use as comparables to justify the value in your property. Um, this time of year, yeah, more sales, but also more competition. But this year, I was noticing that we didn't have um, we haven't yet had the surge of new listings coming up, okay? And that could very well be because people, there are a lot of sellers out there that are holding on to these really great interest rates, and and they don't want to sell their property, not have another place to go, or you know let go of their great interest rate that they have and make a transition. Um, so the thing that I had noticed was that, the inventory was lagging, that we didn't have the normal inventory supply that we would normally have this time of year. And sure enough, it's showing it in the data. So inventory is down 12.5%. Now, what does that mean? So, home buyers that have been waiting for more inventory to come up in the spring, it's not there yet. Um, but it could be really good news for home sellers. If you're looking at putting your house on the market this time of the year, uh, and you don't have as much competition as in other years, this could be a really good time for you. What else does it historically say? Well, inventory is about good old-fashioned supply and demand. So if this low inventory continues to hold, people still always need to buy houses. They're relocating, upsizing, they, need to be someplace for their kids. It may mean that the competition for those homes starts to increase. I mean, we still have areas of Pensacola that, when a good property comes up and it's priced correctly and it's presented correctly, it's given the right exposure and it shows well, we still have properties that can sell in multiple offer situations and be under contract within days, if not a week. I just had a listing come up last week. It was on the market for one day. We had multiple offer situation, got it under contract in about 24 hours. Actually, it was just a little over 24 hours. So it does show you that properties that are presented well, that have that are priced correctly, not a deal, just correctly for the market, can sell well. And what else do I have to share you? Well, we've got the difference between asking and selling price has also come down a little bit. And again, that kind of we had been roughly 3% difference between asking and selling price, and that had been for quite a long time now. I'm talking like the last few years. Um, so this past month, March, difference between asking and selling price, 2.6%. So that margin is getting more slim. Uh, that kind of goes along with if I have a crystal ball and I'm looking at, historically what happens with inventory. We don't have a lot of inventory, more pressure on the houses. In number of sold homes increased last month, decreased inventory, good old-fashioned supply and demand, closer margin between asking price and selling price, 2.6%. So what has that done to inventory? So we are now at a 3.9 month inventory. If we took every property that we currently have on the market and we sold them at the same rate that we did last month, we have a 3.9 month inventory. We have not had that little of an inventory in many, many months. That has now pushed us into a weak seller's market. Typically, any inventory between 4 and 6 months is considered neutral for our area. We are now at a 3.9, again, heading into that weak seller's market, and now we're heading into the busy selling season. We could see that prices start to go up again. I'm going to venture to say that. Depends on, of course, consumer confidence. One of the leading factors that I watch is just how are people feeling? How are people feeling about the market, the economy? How are they feeling about state of affairs in the world? Just how are people feeling? What is their confidence? Consumer confidence, to me, drives a lot of where that real estate market goes. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in these next few months. It's always interesting to see. You never know how things could change in a short amount of time. Pensacola is very much a micro market, and so you really can't look at what's happening nationally when you're looking at Pensacola. Our market in Pensacola has been so steadily growing because our community is investing in the city. We have an airport expansion happening. We have expansion and infrastructure work being done at our port. We have America's Magic, the America's Cup boat and crew now stationed here in Pensacola. We have a beautification project going on Main Street that is, last I checked, ahead of schedule and due to be wrapped up before the end of May. Once that's done, our downtown is going to look just unbelievably beautiful. Not that it wasn't already, but boy, this is just going to really just level it up. One thing that I notice, traveling to different areas, seeing what other real estate markets are doing, both in our, out from Pensacola, other parts of the Panhandle, watching other parts of Florida, South Florida, watching the Southeast, watching what's happening out west, up in New England, just kind of really trying to get a big picture view of what our real estate market here is like in Pensacola and how it compares to others. Our average sale price is still below the national average. Our market we've got, what did I say, 396,000 average sale price. Nationally, it's more like 410. So we are still more affordable than most other areas in our nation. And we are still on a growing trajectory with what's happening in our Pensacola market. There are markets to the east of Pensacola that are very sluggish, that have very long inventories. The absorption rate is really tough for home sellers. There are other areas in Florida that are, Miami, Tampa, that are, Orlando area that are continuing to thrive. But in comparison to the rest of the country, Pensacola is in an extremely strong market right now. It's been stable for over 3 years. We came off that fever pitch in 2021, 22, came off that, adjusted a little bit. Our average sale price has been steady for the last 3 years. Interest rates really haven't changed much at all, and now it looks like if they're waffling around 6% for conventional financing with good credit, 30-year fixed. Uh, you know, there's really not been a whole heck of a lot of change on that front. So if you're looking to buy a home, make sure you get that pre-approval ready. Good homes still do move quickly. If a property's been lingering on the market, it might be a little bit more negotiating power on those listings. Sellers are offering some seller concessions out there for you home buyers. Sellers, this could be your opportunity to take advantage of the lower inventory so your property is positioned better in the market for selling. As always, I'm always happy to talk real estate with you. Give me a jingle anytime. Follow me on my YouTube channel and subscribe. Always happy to talk. Take care. CHRIS Reid, Pensacola Realtor, signing out.